Hello everyone. Now today we are going to see the next topic from our unit number 4 of computer graphics subject, and the topic name is Pentas algorithm. So this topic comes from the hidden surfaces. The name of unit is light, colors and shading with hidden surfaces, from which we are going to cover the Pentas algorithm. So before moving towards the Pentas algorithm, once again we are going to revise the depth comparison algorithm, because this Pentas is also going to be work on this depth comparison algorithm. So this depth comparison, we can also call it as a Z comparison, because depth is measured in terms of Z coordinate. What the concept of depth comparison we are having, that we will see. So in this hidden surfaces algorithm, they must be capable of finding out the edges and the surfaces which are visible and the surfaces which are invisible or which are hidden. That the algorithm should be capable of finding out such surfaces, and then it should remove that back faces over there. So the many of the algorithm that are used for the back faces detection and the back faces removal, or you can say the hidden surface detection and the hidden surface removal, for that many of the algorithm uses the concept of depth comparison algorithm. So the today's algorithm, that is Pentas algorithm, is also going to be use this concept. So that's why we are revising once it again. And this depth comparison says that if we are just checking that we are having a 2 point, and I just want to know that whether A point is hiding to B point or B point is hiding to A point, or none of the point is hiding to each other. So whenever I want to see this scenario, whether one point is hiding another point, so what thing we are going to do here is that first of all we are going to check that whether they are on the same projection line. So from where we are projecting towards these 2 points, so I will find out whether these 2 points are collinear, whether they are lying onto the same point, same line. If they are lying on the same line, then one point may hide another. Okay. But if we want to check whether A is hiding to point B or B is hiding to point A, for this we have to apply the 2 process over there, right? So if both points A and B are not lying on the same projection line, then we can say that the no points is hiding to another point. So we can see here in this diagram that A and B are the 2 points, and they are on the different projection lines. They are not lying on the same projection line. x1, y1, z1 are the coordinates of the point A. x2, y2, z2 are the coordinates of a point B. Now these 2 points are definitely not lying on the same projection line. We can see over here, and that's why we can say that not A is hiding to B and not B is hiding to A. So it means that if both points are not collinear, then both will be visible, and therefore we have to take the projection of A and B points on our xy plane, because whenever we are taking the projection of any 3D object on the 2D plane, we are always mapping them into the x and y coordinates. So we can map them. So A will becomes x1, y1 here, and B will becomes the x2, y2 here. So the point A and B will get displayed onto your xy plane. So this is what the concept of depth comparison, when your both points are not lying on the same line. What happens if I am saying that yes, both points are lying on the same projection line, means both points are collinear. So in that case, definitely the one point will be hiding another point. So again here we have to find out whether A is hiding to B or B is hiding to A. So how we are going to find out that hidden points? So to find out that point, we are just calculating their Z coordinate. How we are going to calculate that? So as both points A and B are collinear here, the projection of both points in the 2D plane, we can mark it is here. So either B can be visible or A can be visible. We can't say which point is visible. So how we are going to find that? So for that purpose we are having this depth comparison, and for that we have to use that third parameter, that is called as a Z coordinate. So this Z coordinate is nothing but which is measuring a depth of that object. So if Z coordinate of a point A, that is, if we are looking here, that is Z1, is smaller than the Z coordinate of a point B, that is Z2, then Z2 is in front of Z1, means the Z2 is near to the viewer than Z1. So we can say that the point B is near to the viewer than the point A, and therefore we can say that the point B hiding to point A. So in this 2D we have to plot the point B only, because this B is visible and due to this B A is invisible. So we are plotting B only over here with its coordinate x2, y2, only two coordinates, because we are plotting them into the xy plane. So if Z1 is greater than Z2, that is point A is in front of point B. When we are saying that our Z1 is greater than Z2, then point A is in front and B is in back, or we can say it is the hiding point. But here Z2 is greater because Z2 is on the positive axis where the Z1 is on the negative axis. So we can say that the Z2 is greater than Z1, and that's why B is hiding to point A, because viewer is on this side. So B is near to the viewer, so we can say it easily. So this is what the depth comparison algorithm that we are going to use here in the Pentos algorithm. So now we'll see what is the Pentos algorithm and what is the concept of Pentos algorithm. So we know what is the back faces. Back faces is nothing but that faces that are very away from the viewer, that is called as a back faces. So we have to identify such a back faces and we have to remove those back faces. So we have seen in the previous videos that back face removal. Then after that we have seen one algorithm based on the depth comparison, that is called as a Z buffer. We have seen the concept of Z buffer. Now we are moving towards the Pentos algorithm. So for this there are many algorithms we are having, and the Pentos algorithm is one of them. So another name of this Pentos algorithm is also called as a depth sorting algorithm, or one more name is there, that is called as a priority algorithm. So these are the names of Pentos algorithm. We can call it as a depth sorting algorithm, we can call it as a priority algorithm. So what is meant by priority, what is meant by depth sorting, what is meant by the Pentos? So they are using this concept, means depth we are going to use over there. We are taking this as a priority based, means we are assigning the priority to some values, or we can using the technique of Pentos, the way they pen to the house, the way they pen to the wall, that technique we are going to use. So the Pentos algorithm processes polygon as if they are painted onto the view of the plane. Means if one painter is painting on some canvas, so what sequence he is going to be do, what the sequence he or she is going to be follow, that type of sequence we are going to use over here in this Pentos algorithm. So in this process, what we are saying that the polygons, as if they are painted onto the view plane in order to their distance from the viewer. So if I want to say that I can look or I can see the 3 or 4 objects from this viewing point, and if I want to paint that object onto the one paper, okay, on one canvas, so how we are going to place that object in order to their distance from my eye, okay, from viewer, from my side, whatever the distance we are having, according to that distance we are going to paint. For example, the object that are very near to me, that are very closer to me, that will be painted above. The objects which are far away from me, that will be painted as a background. So this concept we are going to follow. So it is very similar to work as a painter. Painter first paints whole canvas, right, with some color over there, which will be a background color of that picture. So we are assuming this is what the background color. Then on the top of this he paints with the other colors of the object, and whenever we are painting the top of any particular thing with the other colors of an object, then we will be using this as a foreground picture. So newly painted onto the canvas color, then we are considering them as a foreground picture, and whatever the color the canvas is having initially, that will be called as a background color. Okay, so this concept I will show you by the diagram here. So what we are saying that the Pentos is doing painting, and first of all it is going to be painted the canvas. Okay, so this is what the canvas we are having, and if we want to paint that, so we are painting with the some color, right? So this is what the background color we are assuming for background color of this canvas or any particular scene. Now on this top of the canvas a rectangle or any other shape is painted. Now suppose we are painting here as a triangle, so we have painted the triangle over here. On the top of this triangle means if I am looking two objects over there, one circle and one triangle. The circle is nearer to me than the triangle, so triangle will be behind of the circle, circle will be in front of triangle. So if I am saying that I want to paint this triangle but it is some far away from the user viewer or from me, so I will paint it with another color, and if I want to place another object which is near to me than this triangle, then that object will lie over here, right? Means what? I can see the circle first. Due to some part of this circle, due to this circle, some part of the triangle is hidden. We can see that. Why this happens? Because circle is very near to me than this triangle. So due to this concept, from my eyesight or due to this from my eye view, we cannot see some part of the triangle here. Okay, so we cannot see some. So we can see here, we can say here that the triangle is lying behind of that circle, and that's why some part of the triangle is hidden, right? So whenever we are drawing any painting such like this by giving the priorities to the object appearances, then in that case we are putting the object according to their sequence. We are putting the object according to their appearances, right? So in this way we are painting, and whenever we are painting same with the our computer graphics, so this painting techniques we are using over here, and that's why its name is given as a painter's algorithm. So it is going to be paint likely the painters are doing onto the canvas. Okay, so from this picture we can come to know that the circle is more nearer to the viewer than this triangle, and that's why some part of this triangle is hidden from the viewer. Okay. So next is what is the exactly painter's algorithm, and how we are calling it as a priority algorithm. So the main factor over here is we are going to decide the priority of the polygons to be determined which polygons are to be painted first. So that's why it is also called as a priority algorithm. Why? Because we are going to assign some priority to determine which polygons are to be painted first. So if we are considering the previous scenario here, over here, so we have the knowledge that which we have to draw first, whether I should draw the circle first, whether I should draw the triangle first. So that knowledge we are requiring over here. So for that knowledge we are going to assign the priorities over there. We are going to assign the priorities to find out which kind of algorithm or which kind of polygons we are going to painting first. It means when the two polygons overlap, how we are going to decide which polygon hiding the another polygon, that we are going to find over here. So painter algorithm, this technique is going to be use the minimax test. Okay, so here we are going to use the minimax test. So what we can say from the previous diagram is that whenever we are saying this diagram, so what we can say that more distance polygons are painted first, right? So we have painted the triangle, and the nearer distance polygons are painted over the more distance polygon. Means after painting the more distance, that is triangle, then we are painting the circle, right? So if we are looking like this, so in that way we can color. So here we can say that the nearer distance polygons are painted over the more distance polygon, partially or totally hiding them from the view. So we can see as it is partially hiding to the triangle. So the main factor over here is to decide the priority of that polygon. Okay, so here we are going to decide the priority of the polygon, and for that we are going to making the use of min-max test. This minimax test is also called as a boxing test. So another name of this technique is a boxing test. From this test we are going to immediately we are going to sorting or isolating the polygons which are overlapping. Overlapping means one polygon is hiding to another polygon, or we are also going to find out which polygons are not overlapping. So from this boxing test or from this minimax test, we are going to come to know whether the polygons are overlapping or not. So to make the efficient use of this bounding box technique or method, this must be the use of this test, the bounding box, whatever we are going to paint over here, whatever we are going to draw over here, that must be as small as possible. Still it contain the polygon. Okay. So this min-max test it says that if we place both the polygons in two different boxes, okay, and if these boxes are not overlapping, then it means that polygons within these boxes are also not overlapping. A very simple statement of this Penter's algorithm. It says that the minimax test says that if we place both polygons in the two different boxes, means if we draw the two different boxes for the both polygon, and if these boxes are not overlapping, then we can easily say that the polygons within these boxes are also not overlapping. So to make the efficient use of this technique, we are using this test as a bounding box that should be as small as possible. Still it contains the polygon. Means whatever the bounding box or that box we are going to drawing over here, that should be as small as possible, but it should contain the whole polygon within it. Okay, so here is the diagram. We can see that we have plotted the two boxes over here, box 1 and box 2. Okay, but the box 2 is containing the box 1 also, and this should not happen. We need two separate boxes over here for these two polygons. So how it can be done? The boxes can be as small as possible. So you can see here, this box 1 can be as small as possible that it contains the whole polygon. So we are having the whole polygon within it. So we have made that as small as possible. So we can overlap these edges of boxes with the edges of polygon over here. So we have made this box 1 small as possible. Same way we have to do with the box 2 also. So this box 2 we can make it as small as possible so that it can acquire all that polygon within it. So these are the two different boxes we are having for this algorithm. Now whenever we are checking this with the Penter's algorithm, so we mean that we have to perform the box with the boundaries. So why we are putting that boxes over here? So here we are going to check the boundaries of the boxes. So how I am going to mark with these boundaries? So I will say that for this box, this is what the x minimum, this is what the x maximum, this is y minimum, this is what the y maximum. Same for the another box, x minimum, x maximum, y minimum, y maximum. This 1 and 2 are showing you the box 1 and box 2. Okay, so we are going to mark this the boundaries of the boxes with the x min, x max, y max and y min of that polygon. So now we are going to apply the test, minimax test over here, and if the two boxes are one over another, one over means one is below, one is on the top of another. So if the two boxes are one over another with the same x min and the x max, so you can say that this box is having the same x min value, same x max value, means for these two boxes the x value are same, right? The x value is same, only what changing? The change in the y value. So if you are considering the coordinate system over here like this, this and this, so x min are the same for these two boxes, only y min values are changing, right? So in that case there is only difference between the y min and the y max value, and then two polygons which are inside these boxes are not overlapping. How we are going to come to know that they are overlapping or not? So here we are going to check with that y mean and y max of these two boxes. So here what we are saying that x mean and the x max are same for both boxes, box 1 and box 2. So if the y mean of box 1 is greater than the y max of a box 2. You can see here, if we are considering this is as a coordinate system, so we can start with the y mean, y max, y mean, y max, right? So if the y mean of box 1 is greater than the y max of box 2, then both polygons are visible and they are not overlapping, because there is some distance in between these boundaries of boxes, and if there will be some distance in between these boundaries of boxes, means the boxes are also not overlapping, and as the boxes are not overlapping, so polygon which are lying inside of that boxes, that is also not overlapping. So this is what the technique of this Pentas algorithm. Okay, this happens when your x mean and x max are same. What happens if your y mean and y max values are same? So we can see here the y mean and the y max values are same. This is what the y mean, right? This is what the y max. This is what the y mean. This is what the y max. So y mean and y max values are same. Now there is a change of x mean and x max. So if we are considering this coordinate system, so y mean, y max are same. X mean, x max, x mean, x max are changing, right? So how we are going to calculate it? So here y mean and y max are the same, and if x mean of 2, x mean of box 2 is greater than the x max of box 1, then we can say that these two boxes are not overlapping, and as these two boxes are not overlapping, the polygon within these boxes are also not overlapping, right? So polygon within these boxes are also not going to be overlapping. This is called as a Pentas algorithm. What happens if these boxes are overlapping? Here both boxes are not overlapping, so both polygons is going to be visible. But if we are going to check whether the polygon 1 is to the right of the polygon 2, and whether the polygon 1 is below of the polygon 2. So this we can easily check with this min-max test. Okay, so this min-max test is true here, then it means the polygons are visible and no one is hiding another. If your min-max true is giving your output as a true, means the polygons are visible, no one is hiding to be another. So but if the case is like this, okay, means it is like a non-overlapping and the overlapping. So in that case, here we are not in the position to say firmly that the polygon is overlapping or not. How? By checking the boxes boundary. Here you can see that the box 1 and box 2 are, this box 1 and the box 2 are overlapping, right? So we can say here the boxes are overlapping, but still polygon is not overlapping. And in the another diagram B, the box 1 and box 2 are also overlapping, and the polygon inside these boxes are also overlapping. So this is what the different technique when we are saying the boxes are overlapping. Still we cannot sure that whether the polygon inside of that boxes are overlapping or not, right? So how we are going to come to know if the boxes are overlapping, then how we are going to find out the polygon inside that boxes are overlapping or not. So for this purpose we are going to use that z coordinate comparison, that is the depth comparison over here. So how we are going to find out that? So this there will be new test we are going to carry out, and that is called as a z coordinate of that polygon. So we are going to check over there a z coordinate of that polygon. So to find out whether one is hiding to another, we are going to check the z mean value. So if the smallest z value of one polygon is the larger than the largest z value of the another polygon, then the first polygon lies in front of the another polygon. So if we are checking this in terms of z mean and z max, so we can say here both P1 and P2 are the boxes. This is what the box 1 P1, box 2 P2. These are the two boxes which are overlapping. So we have to perform this test, and here we can say here the P1 is in front of P2. Why? Because the Z min of P1 means the smallest Z value of one polygon. Okay, Z min of P1 means smallest Z value of the one polygon P1 is larger than the largest value of another polygon. What is the largest value of P2? Z max, right? So if we are checking that Z min of P1 is greater than the Z max of P2, then we can say that the P1 is in front of P2. If reverse is happen means if Z max of P1 is less than the Z min of P2, then we can say that the P1 will be behind of P2. Right? So what is the case here? This is lying on the positive Z axis, this is lying on the negative Z axis. So Z min will be greater because it is lying on to the positive Z axis, right? So Z min of P1 is greater than Z max of P2, and that's why we can say that the P1 is heading to point P2. P1 is heading to the point P2. Alright? So this is what the Pentas algorithm. So we have to store these polygons into the polygon list according to the Z min of each polygon. According to the Z min value of each polygon, we are going to store it into the polygon list. And after that, it means we are storing the smallest Z coordinate of each polygon into the array. So we are going to make the use of array, and here we are going to store the smallest possible Z values of each coordinate over there. And the first display the polygon, we are going to display the polygon whose Z min value is the smallest. That polygon we are going to display first, right? Then the next polygon, and likewise we are going to display one by one. So at last we have to display a near polygon whose Z min is maximum. That if we are following this diagram, so we can say that the P1 is nearer, so we are going to display the P1. So this is what the Pentas algorithm. Here we are first of all we are working on the boundary boxes. We are just checking whether these boundary boxes are overlapping or not. If they are not overlapping, then polygons are also not overlapping. But if they are overlapping, then we cannot sure that whether the polygons inside that boundary boxes are overlapping or not. So for checking that, we are making the use of Z min and Z max. That is, we are checking the depth comparison over here. So what kind of questionnaires can be asked in the university exam regarding to this Pentas algorithm is like, explain the Pentas algorithm with the help of the diagram and its application. Explain the Pentas algorithm with the help of diagram. Explain the Pentas algorithm, write a short note on Pentas algorithm, or explain the Pentas algorithm with example. So if the question is like with the example, so you can give this example of this Pentas algorithm. So here you can say over here that these two boundary boxes are not overlapping, and therefore the polygon inside these boundary boxes is also not overlapping. So likewise we can give the examples of this Pentas algorithm by drawing such a polygon with the boundary boxes. So you can show the one polygon that is non-overlapping, another that will be overlapping. So this is what the questionnaires can be asked with this different boundary boxes. You have to also show this Z comparison or a depth comparison over here. Because of this depth comparison, this Pentas algorithm will not be finished. Okay, there will be the concept of depth comparison should be included over there. So this is what the questionnaire that can be asked in a university question exam. So with this we are stopping today here. Thank you all of you. Thank you very much.